3 days of darkness is our destiny. By the end of this talk, you'll understand the power that the 3 days of darkness provides for humanity. This is all going to be broken down in this lesson. The truth is always at the top, and humanity needs to integrate the shadows. It is what it is a phrase that I use a lot. It is what it is. A lot of people have been watching my journey, and our journey, our true ascension journey, and the change that humanity is going to. It is about getting as close to possible to the embodiment of truth. Okay, so like just being artificially positive, and that's part of the lesson today. Artificial positivity is actually deteriorating humanity as a whole. You will be prepared for the 3 days of darkness, and you're going to excel through it. The micro and the macrocosm. I have already been through 3 days of darkness. It's no problem. So if you're on this podcast, you're listening on the replay, what I have to share today is going to change your everyday life. Now, humanity is doing this as a whole. That's why, over the past few years, different groups of people went through different shifts. We talk about timeline shifts on this channel. And there is something that is ancient that has been going on in all of humanity. Do you know this? In today's lesson. And that's going to be the main idea of the 3 days of darkness. It is going to be addressed one way or the other. So anyone that hears my voice at any time, and you're on this video, this is happening with or without you. So it's in your best interest. If you still have any push against the change that's occurring, this is the message for you. We're live. I'm grateful for the support. Clicking the like button, it pushes this forward. Pen, paper, coffee, and your full attention, and you're gonna go right through the 3 days of darkness with no problem. The 3 days of darkness is a powerful reset. It's known in ancient cultures. And 3 days of darkness is utilized to reset your nervous system. It is a recalibration of your functions. It is like a detox. In any aspect of your life, you could do a 3-day detox, a 3-day darkness, a total shut off of any aspect. You could do 3 days of darkness. A lot of people are waiting for the TV to turn off for 3 days. Maybe you could do it yourself. I rarely, okay, so I share about my journey. I rarely watch the TV. I just like to pop in and say, what's going on down there in the 3-dimensional world? I say, what's going on down there? And I pop on. So if you are a person, and this is your transition, you're doing it ahead of time, be preemptive. It comes from a different place when you prune your life instead of waiting for God to prune your life. And then it's going to be a little bit tougher. Okay. So start getting with it. A lot of people, they are waking up. They said, you know what, that stuff on the TV, that wasn't really for our best interest, or it was fake, or it was actually creating a life that, heck, I was being programmed, and you maybe didn't even want to live that life. You woke up, you said, I was living somebody else's life. This is about the darkness. The darkness is the unconscious, and it's scary. You don't see, you're out in the wilderness, say, right? Or you hear, and you can't see, and you hear this noise, and it could be an animal, It could be a monster. It could be spookables and heffalumps, like Winnie the Pooh said. You didn't know. And then you had like a little flashlight in the darkness, right? And that's what a lot of you, if you're on this podcast today, you're going to be the flashlight for people that are going to freak out in the upcoming days, all right? So you hold that flashlight and you say, oh, it was just the branches, it was the wind, there wasn't a scary creature over there, right? So this is how it's playing out in everyday life. Okay, the light of awareness. The light of awareness is so important. And awareness is the precursor to change. And sometimes we fill the void from our minds, and it's getting to what is an ancient program. So what is being revealed and cleared? There's a lot of things that have been going on since we've been here, right? A lot of you know this. What are the things that have been going on in this world for so many years that was hidden in the dark? Okay, you let us know in the comments. Okay, you let us know in the comments. Now, why is this so important? The cycle repeats until you face the darkness. So over the course of our journey, all right, and Carl Jung speaks about the process of individuation, now the collective. And there was constant cycles. The cycle repeats until you face the darkness. You got to go toe to toe. You're going to have to face that darkness. And when you're able to face the darkness, then finally that cycle will end. It will never end. You can't ignore it away. You can't shove it under the rug. Heck, it has been shoved under the rug. That is the unconscious. It is, and that is buried within your subconscious. And this is just because you're going to ignore it, you're going to sweep it away. Well, guess what? The subconscious is actually 95%. So it is a big deal. This cycle, and I teach people on their journey. You could click subscribe. This channel is for your personal journey, and I discuss the current energies of the world. Do you feel the current energies of the world? This is the place you want to be in the upcoming days for the massive shifts and revelations that we're having. So if you said to yourself, my life was on a loop, right? I give you the real life evidence, right? And you could say, I had the same situation. I went to a totally different job, the same type of situation with the boss. I ran through 3 different men, right? They all did the same thing. They all subconscious. Click subscribe. Fix it. We're gonna fix it. And now, and there's no denying this. This must be fixed for all of humanity. So the only way out is through, ladies and gentlemen. The only way out is through. Okay? There is an artificial positivity. Some people refer to it as toxic positivity. The actual answer in life is authenticity. It actually makes you weak if you actually just pretend, because that's not you. You're just playing pretend if you're just like pretending like everything is light, or you're just light, and you're trying to have a persona. That's that mask, and you have to go out into the world with the mask on. Now in our life, we are that mask, or that blend, if you will. It's falling down. It's getting weaker and weaker. We're getting closer to truth and authenticity, right? You might not have been able to be yourself in the workplace. Every stage in life, it has to get closer and closer to the truth, because when you are not living in truth, and then your body actually deteriorates. Dr. Gabor speaks about this, right? And I'm here to help you guys, right? We got to get our gut health up. We got to get our gut health up, because the more we're out of alignment from our truth, our body is giving us signals. The soul is saying, I can't live this way anymore. when you go through the 3 days of darkness and you're detaching, you realize you don't need these things. It's not to say we never do these things, right? So like a big discussion on the internet is how the TV and the internet might go down for 3 days. Nothing. Okay? Now, it's not to say we want to operate in a world, we want it all to go away forever. However, and if you really focus on this podcast today, you're going to have all the answers to life. It's about balance. You can't rely on it, right? My friend and I were going on hikes, right? 2020 revealed a lot about this, right? There are many people that are presenting that they see similarities in the energy of this year and 2020, right? You see these things playing out. Do you see them playing out? So now humanity has a choice. Are they going to all do the same thing that they did in 2020, or are they going to rise to the occasion? You know, sometimes God gives us a trial run. Yeah. God gives us a trial run. And then you learn. This is what it means to be obedient to God. You know, when God prunes things from your life, God shows you the truth. Watch my very powerful video, how God reveals the truth to you. And now it's your free will. Are you going to put it back in your life? You were acting a certain way and it wasn't your fault. You were given the programs. You were programmed. You got these things from the TV. You thought you had to live this way. So now God gave you the truth. Now you have your free will choices. Okay. Fit Brit writes absolute facts. These are the absolute facts today. Okay. We had to go on that longest journey to greatness, IQ Foundation. Cristal, I feel that as well. You know, these energies are, as more and more people are coming on this podcast today. So your appetite will, you know something is about to pop off. You know something's about to happen. Even last night, I fall asleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. A lot of the community, go through these things because something is in the ether. And I popped up and I couldn't fall asleep for an hour. And then I pass out cold. And then the alarm gets up because I got to get ready for all this stuff, right? So in our life, and informational curve. I discuss these things too. A lot of people want to put the power outside themselves. If you're new, you really enjoy these videos, okay? And that's more and more people are lining up for these things, putting the power outside of them. This comes physically, mentally, spiritually. And I've shared this. Do you, the person that's getting this message, do you have a personal relationship with God? Are you the commander of your body? The greatest conversation that you have is the conversation that you have with trillions of your cells. Right? I've shared about my detoxification journey, fasting, intermittent fasting. Okay? And this is what everyone needs to hear. So I do appreciate everyone. Lieutenant, thanks for coming in, hitting that like button today so people hear this. Because the cycle will repeat until the darkness is faced. The main idea of this is so that you cannot be easily manipulated. Focus on a message now. Why is the 3 days of darkness so important, right? And I'm going to get to the main idea at the end. Humanity has been easily manipulated. When you're able to do this in any aspect of life, social media is an addiction. I utilize it for education, right? When I go on, I listen to other, things that is going to educate me. But some people, they're just looking for that, that Instagram, get the likes, right? Put the Photoshop stuff, and it's like an addiction on social media, right? I got to get the attention. But if you don't need that, right, you're able to turn it off for 3 days, right? Dopamine hit, absolutely. But if that internet goes blackout, all right, you know what? I'm going to walk the beach with God. I do it on a daily basis. No problem. No problem. Right? Fasting. I share with the world. Like, that's the big thing for me. I used to, eat multiple times, 5, 6 meals a day, I'm stronger. I'm faster. I'm sharper. I'm younger, eating less food, doing the intermittent fasting. And I don't do it all the time, but I have done long-term fasting. And the moral of the story is, if you're able to do it, the food itself doesn't hold power over you. Not to say you're never going to eat again, right? Not to say you're never going to eat again, but so you're not manipulated by the food, right? Now, you want to eat healthy food, but a lot of people that are studying and learning, there's a lot of the chemicals, the sugars, a lot of people addicted to sugar, right? So you're dependent on that food, and that food is not really serving your greatest purpose. So if you're able to fast 3 days, boom, it loses that control over you. Can you do that? Can you put your physical wellness first? Can you train for 100 consecutive days? Not to say you're going to live that way all the time, but you say, you know what? I'm ready for a change in life, right? And I'm going to go about, and I'm going to jumpstart it. And it maybe laziness gets you. We have to have balance in life. Oh, it's always balance, right? And I went through that, and we change. So the thing is that in life, we don't allow these things to take a hold of us. If you're a man, can you do semen retention 100 days? Not to say you're never going to see a girl ever again in your life, but can you do it? Some people can't do it. So the point of this, and everything starts with 3 days, because that 3 days is 72 hours, and there's a magical thing that happens. It's a nervous system reset, 72 hours, 3 days of darkness, such an important video. And there's many people that are on this chat. You've done these things, you know it, but the whole humanity's got to go through it right now, because there's something deep hidden in the darkness that's got to come up during the 3 days of darkness for all humanity. As we're focusing on this, we're learning that the things outside of us are losing control. Everything loses control with the 3 days of darkness. That's why that machine, right? The loops that continue. Remember, the cycle repeats until you face the darkness. Some people don't want to face the darkness inside themselves, and we are also supposed to incorporate. It's called authenticity. You don't have to be nice all the time. You got to be authentic. When you're focused, it's a different program. It's an operating system. On my journey, I'm focused towards going towards authenticity all the time, truth. A lot of people here, and you might have been people pleasers, experiencing, and then you start to lose yourself. Anytime you are, not going towards what your heart is telling you, and everyone's journey is different. I'm reading the comments right now. I know what resonates with me, but everything is 70. It's that 3 days. Get the parasites out in 3 days. And sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, the parasites are not in your body. Maybe you got to go no contact with the external. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? And that's that loosening of your attention. It's the currency of the universe. So the more that you're focused on these things, all of these things are just falling off, all right? It's the absolute truth, right? IQ Foundation. I appreciate it, all right? Sylvia, a lot of people can't go without it. Again, I'm not saying that we want to live in a world without it. It's always balanced, but what we need to do is reset and reintroduce. Because when we're in the lower chakras, when we're in the lower energies, It's not serving our greatest purpose. But then, and that's what happens with, God's seasons. God is going to put you in the drought season, and then you're going to get tenfold. And then all of a sudden, because when you go through the drought season, then you start appreciating it more. Okay? Love you too, Tara. Love everyone coming in. So then you start, oh, wow. Now I see the bigger picture. Now I have appreciation. Now I have gratitude, attitude of gratitude. So important. And then you could hear the word. So in the 3 days of darkness, and some people don't want to sit with themselves. They actually don't sit with God. In the 3 days of darkness, you could finally hear the word of God. I have a full video on the channel page differentiating, the internal chatter or the word of God, which just really also means it's coming from your ego or your higher self soul. Do you understand? Your higher self soul is connected to God and the ego, but you need it. It's to operate in this life. But humanity has been bashed into that, right? That fight or flight. You getting chills from this message, Jen? I appreciate that. I love you. So there's a great change that has to happen. And most of humanity, not all of humanity, but most of humanity, it's the law of 80-20, it's Pareto's principle, has been asleep at the wheel. And when you go through this shift, you're having a more conscious and aware experience. The 3 days of darkness are happening with or without you. And it's the greatest thing for humanity. I could reflect on. So I could reflect on my journey. I could reflect on things that maybe was tough. Maybe I didn't like it. But God put me through these things to prepare me ahead of time. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to. You're going to have to draw all your energy on the inside. And that's called the internal authority, not the external authority. Sometimes the external, and this is where you lose yourself. And I've shared this as a world famous content creator. And I create community. Sometimes there's people that are lurking. Okay, did you watch my video on monitoring spirits? I go straight to God. I go from my heart. I don't care because the lower chatter. Oh, you need to talk about that. You need to. No. You need to get TF out of my way. Don't lose yourself, people. Never lose yourself. Never lose yourself for the ego, right? So it might get quiet, but that's cool. That's cool, bro. Because every time on my journey, I've seen this. And you have that pruning. God's going to prune your life. Going to get that crap out of your life. Going to get those looshers out of your life. Right? Looshers, right? If you know about that's your looshers, your attention. They're taking your energy, right? So you're not concerned about these things. You're concerned about your soul. I shared about this with my health and wellness. There's a lot of guys they got to take all this stuff, got to get bigger. They don't want to worry about fasting, detoxing, right? Sometimes we got to shred us. That's called autophagy, and that also happens in 3 days of fasting. It's called autophagy. And what have we held? The densities in our cellular trauma. You hold cellular trauma, of course. You had a lot of trauma in the past few years, right? So all of this has to leave. But it's not only about what we've lived in a post-2020 world. There is something ancient that must be removed from the humanity's collective consciousness, yeah? And this is how we go very deep into the lessons here, if anyone is new. So I give you the really the main reason why we have the 3 days of darkness. You will see a lot of stuff out there. All right, but let's stay focused on the depth of what this is. Not something anyone that's on a personal journey that you can do with ease. Or just wish it away. Those that are understanding the stuff that you bring from past lives, your family lineage, stuff that's held within your DNA. Okay, so now I'm going to refer to Carl Jung. Carl Jung has shared that there is archetypes and there is the victim. And Carl Jung states that the victim is a psychological archetype that is existing in the collective unconscious, which results into a lot of suffering in life. It is a role that humanity plays out. And again, this is something that has existed since ancient times. And a lot of the world, we're all part of it. Now, and again, if the critical mass of humanity doesn't do this, right, you have your personal life, but if we're doing it as the collective, Dolores Cannon spoke about this the first time, the collective's going to do it, right? So when you realize this, there has been a psychological archetype. It's known as the victim, and it exists in the collective unconscious since ancient times. The victim ancient program has repeated across generations. It holds power over humans. The 3 days of darkness, when we do it on a wide scale, finally, humanity can rise up. Today, we're learning what the 3 days of darkness truthfully is all about. There are archetypes that we embrace. One of them that needs to stand up, and a lot of you see that represented here on this world-famous channel, the warrior. The warrior, but it needs to be integrated with balance. And at this time, listen to the words. Think about what's been going on in the world. The integrated warrior aspect protects personal boundaries and stands up for what is right. I believe it was Albert Einstein that said, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those that watch them without doing anything." It doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on. I appreciate if you click the like button. Let's inspire others. Let's get it started ahead of time instead of waiting. There's no more waiting. There's embodiment. You like that mic drop, Brandy, right? Oh, it's tremendous, okay? And it really is, and we focus very strongly on the strong body, but you have to have a strong mind at this time. Strong mind. People with a strong mind, which is needed, they learn to transform energy. A lot of people in spiritual communities refer to transmutation, alchemy, alchemists. A strong mind is needed. You cannot have a weak mind. When you are, and you have to do this, practice what you preach, it has to be daily. It has to be embodiment. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not a mask. It's got to be you. That's why I always say it's you. It's always you. And over the course of my journey, and I've learned this and I've seen this, when you have the strong mind, right? So even if you go, you really should be focused on your health. It's all connected. So it's all a mindset. All my brothers that I've seen for years, regardless of what gym I go to, I always see the same like core group of people. And the bottom line is it's a mindset, because you have a mindset. And if you don't have the strong mindset, You collapse. One of the things, and I hope everyone also is hearing this, where we could fall, there's other archetypes. So the other one I want to address is the caregiver. The caregiver. You can't be depleted. So this is where, like, as I'm sharing this, like, people see me, right? And they say, this guy's interesting. He's a little different. So what I'm here to present to the world is the awakened, enlightened man that lives in balance. So you can be the warrior, and then you got to be the caregiver, but then you have to have balance, because what has happened is the caregiver, they lose themselves, and all of a sudden they keep getting their energy depleted. And sometimes we get depleted by people that don't want to do the inner work. Everyone hearing this message, you gotta get this through the head. Everyone's got to put in for this growth, for this shift, your own. Do you have an example of Jesus Christ doing this? Absolutely. And some of you have seen this. This meme. It's a picture, and there was a person drowning, and you see it's a picture. You see Jesus putting the hand into the water, but Jesus didn't go all the way down. He reached his hand down just far enough so that if the person would just go up just a little bit, he'd grab it safely and pull the person out and assist the person. Assist, not save. Assist. Because if he went all the way down, that person could have yanked him down, and he would have drowned too. Actually, I like that picture. It's a very strong lesson from that. And I hope others hear that. Because there are people on this. You are the caregiver. You lose yourself, and it's very draining. There's certain times, and that's why when we're all focused on our health and wellness, we don't become the albatross for other people. We all rise up in empowerment, and we are the embodiment of this. There's also people that have the savior complex. Remember, and it is a free will universe. It must be respected, even though you think, and we all go through this shift as well. Can't save everyone. You're not supposed to, because it's their life lesson, it's earth school, or it's their karma, whatever you want to refer to. There's certain things that people must experience. So you cannot get involved with that. And as I've shared for many years, they can't hear you anymore. Through free will, people could go through the detoxing, but again, in this shift, some people will go one way, some people will go the other. Everyone's got to stay in their lane and allow and let go. I know there's a lot of people very loving, know the archetypes, right? But above all, as long as you are going towards, and this is what Carl Jung calls individuation, so important, you're always going through truth. So even on my journey, and people have been watching me for years, right? I don't tolerate, I do no people pleasing. I just truth. That boom, that's it. And when you go straight to truth, you're embodying the lightness and the darkness. So some people just run away from the darkness. You got to embrace it. You got to balance it out, like the yin yang, right? And again, look at all the ways of universal codes, like Pareto's principle 80-20, balancing divine masculine and feminine. You got to have a little bit of both in you, and that's what keeps you healthy, strong, and that is the balance that we need in life. Perfection, being perfect, is just an illusion, and we're leaving that illusion. Yeah, and I've seen that. There's too much duality, too much polarization. But when you go through this, and that's why when you have 3 days of darkness, you finally hear the word of God. You finally feel what is truthful for you. I share with the people, there's things that I thought 7 years ago. Now I see the bigger picture. I didn't see it 7 years ago. Right? Click subscribe. Take the journey of our everyday lives. Right? I cut the promo. Celestial Gatekeeper. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so grateful. Thanks so much, Mike. 1111. Beautiful. New beginnings, Celestial Gatekeeper. New beginnings here. Yeah. And it's we must have the new beginnings. Because the cycle repeats. And sometimes in our life, to achieve finally that breakthrough moment, that new beginning, you're going to have to do things. If you do the same thing, you're always going to get that same outcome. And there's a scaredy scared, a little fraidy frayed for these things. Scared to go into the dark, scared to do this. The only way you break the cycle. It's the only way you break the loop-de-loop. Otherwise, that loop will continue. And these 3 days of darkness are coming with or without you. It's not something to be feared. There's going to be people that are accustomed to it. Why? Because you're not easily manipulated. And that's why I shared this on my great split video. It's the perception of the person. I reflect back in 2020, and that's why you're constantly doing this inner work. You're staying ready so you don't have to get ready. If you stay ready, it's kind of easy. It's never easy, but it's easier. But if you have to get ready, oh my God, I got to get dressed, right? Oh, I'm late, Yeah, just the feelings, right? Oh, it's happening now. I wasn't prepared. So it comes from that different place. We're staying ready, Molly Cooper. Appreciate everyone coming on. The unconscious, and a lot of people have been unconscious. And we do have spiritual senses, and the more that we're tapping in, you feel like there is something wrong, and you're destined for more in your life. You are destined for more, destined for greatness, and you can't live that fake life anymore. Upon the moment that you have seen, that's what a timeline collapse is all about, because the darkness, you don't see these things. And then so if you're that person and then you shine that flashlight and you're in the wilderness with your buddy, oh, it's not a monster. Oh, it's not an animal. It's just the wind blowing the leaves. That noise is just the branches. We're safe. And then that time, so what you see in the world, and that's why I'm going to stay very strong as the good shepherd at this time. A lot of people, we see them promoting all the fear. We got it, and you don't want to get that gravity tractor pulling you off. We got to stay focused on the positivity. There will be 3 days of dark. That's cool. That's cool, bro. Not to say anything in life we want to get rid of everything. It's out of balance. No, we just want to have balance in our life. A lot of people use these things as masks because they are hurt. But sometimes in life we have to address it and get to the deeper picture. Got to get deep down there, into the darkness, into the shadows. That's what it's all about. Mad Dog, I love you. Mad Dog writes, grid going down, lights literally being shut off. I don't know. I don't think so. Now, there might be something that might because it's like an addiction, Mad Dog, because they got because they have to see it on TV. I saw it on TV. It's got to be real. Mad Dog writes, no fear, no anger. Neutral at worst. Absolutely. Neutral is actually a superpower. I love you, Mad Dog. Thank you for the super chat, Mad Dog. Neutral is a superpower. And I've lived through this. And I reflect back on the way that I was 7 years ago, and now I see the bigger picture. I appreciate people. I appreciate things. And stop painting all these, you know, there are things you have to, when there's too much, even if there's too much light, and you have to embrace the darkness, you have to embrace truth and strength. You can't be a pushover. You cannot be easily manipulated. Some people are manipulated by the light, actually. It's about balance. Balance. My sensei used to say, balance. He used to hit us with the thing, how to keep our balance, right? Because that's how you fall for the Decepticons. Remember the Decepticons? There's people out there, the beings of light. You know, some people write the videos about the false light, all that other things. You don't fall for it. I don't care what a person looks like, how they present themselves. Real recognizes real. I think a lot of people know that phrase. Real recognizes real. Realize, realize. And that's been my journey. And that's why more and more people resonate with this, because I keep it at 100. Don't judge people. Don't judge people. But don't be the doormat. Also, once you see, once you feel, because you're being lulled to sleep. Listen, the word of God, and then you're going to feel that. That's why you need the 3 days of darkness. I needed my isolation season. I would not be the man I am today if God didn't put me into the wilderness to fight alone. You got to fight your way out of the wilderness, kid. Watch my full video. The wilderness season with God. Training. There's no one here. That's why people respect me. Ain't no master. I did everything myself. Alone with God. Do it. See the difference. Feel the difference. The Enduring Warrior, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so grateful. 777. The rewards are here. Beautiful numbers. Let's all hit 7. Let's flood this video with 777 today. Beautiful energy. Beautiful powers coming in. Right? Yeah, Starlight 382 writes, made me who I am. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that is that mask, that identity. You're not living, you are the representation of yourself. The greatest thing in life is to simply be yourself. It's a superpower. Literally a superpower. In this world, it's all archetypes. There's a deeper picture. There's a deeper energy when you go to authenticity, the truth. And I could sit here and I could say, it doesn't make a difference. I don't care. Everything's documented in the Akashic records anyway, right? And the things that, I thought, oh, maybe this was the thing, 7 years. It wasn't. Now I see better. Now I see better. Tara, I love you. Thank you so much for the super chat. The purge is huge, but trusting my heart. Love you. Yeah, we got to trust the heart. I love you, Tara. I'm very grateful for the super chat. The heart, the first brain, the gut, the second brain. This demented brain is the third brain. Okay? A lot of people, they're running on robot mode, NPC mode, with the stuff, the stuff you got in your brain. Who put that stuff in your brain? But if you go to the sources, you go to your heart, you go directly to the source, Oh, it's a totally different reality. Now you're functioning differently. So the 3 days of darkness, now I could finally feel and hear the word of God. You got to feel the word of God too. I know some people don't understand that. You watch my video on clairsentience, right? And then you make these better decisions. Mad Dog, thank you for the super chat again. Mad Dog writes, highest form of spirituality is being authentic and true to yourself. Akashic Records have everything. Akashic Records have everything. Nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. No, and the sooner you know this, you start, and then you're living your life in authenticity. Can never, even during the 3 days of darkness, the Akashic Records never turn off. So when you live your life that way, it again comes from a different place. In the 3 days of darkness, they are needed for humanity, for this great cleansing, because there is an ancient archetype program. It's called the victim. This has been passed down from generations. It's not your fault, but this must be cleansed. So now the people that are listening still here, you say to yourself, okay, I wanted this better life, right? So the people that, say, oh, Mike, can you teach me how to get my health and wellness up? Can you teach me how to work out this muscle, get this, and so on and so forth? Okay. So for our life, for our conscious creation, there are certain things. Sometimes we got to stop eating foods. We got to get this out of it. It's the same concept. It's always an energy theme. It's always the same. It's always the same. So when we get rid of the victim archetype, the subconscious program that has been running in the background, it's been cleared and removed. It's literally a program. Not saying it's anyone's fault. I know people get triggered, but as we move forward in life, and you're going to get less and less and less triggered over the course of your journey, as I do. And then you're going to get to that place of what is actually meaningful in life. What is really important in life. And it's that constant journey. It's that constant compare and contrast. You need it. I needed constant compare and contrast. Because otherwise you don't learn. And it's a great year, because it's a new beginning year, to do the things, to finally do the things that your soul it's saying, and you feel this inside. You gotta embrace it. You gotta do it. Don't be afraid to break that cycle yourself. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. And that's also known as the persecution implants. You might have been persecuted for speaking up the truth in the past few years. Anyone? Anyone at all want to comment about that? That's called persecution implants. You're actually a good person, right? And it's the invertedness. So this is a very powerful time period. Caroline writes, be bold. We could throw up the lions in the chat. Be a lion, not a hyena at this time. Okay? Be a lion. Don't worry about, there's a lot of hyenas in the world, right? They're talking about other people, low-hanging fruit, right? All the hyenas, right? But if you're doing the constant inner work and you're the lion, right? You're staying away from that drama. You're fully charged. So I'm so grateful for the community support. And this lesson today is really you're gonna go through this with ease. Grateful if you click the like button. Click the subscribe button if you're new. We have daily videos 9 a.m. Eastern time to help you become the greatest version of yourself. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the community. I'm just one man doing this. We keep it authentic here. And by you guys doing it, we keep the word. We keep the word authentic. Anyone that resonates with that, that's what all those likes and the shares and all those things, that's what it's all about. Mad Dog writes, thank you for the super chat. Open the pineal gland to learn to astral project. I got to work on the astral projection. All right. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone. We have tremendous posts on Facebook. The link is down below. Check out the videos that pop up and the videos that we have been working on the past week. It is a very pivotal moment that you can really focus on and improve your life. It's a launching pad. This year is a launching pad. Nirmalad, thank you so much for the super chat. I love you. I'm so grateful for the support. I love you all. I'm grateful for everyone. Really focus on an attitude of gratitude and really digest this. Really digest this because, you know, the more you detox and you don't need anything at all, not to say you're never going to have anything, but if you don't need anyone or anything, it's a different power. It's empowerment. I always say that this is an empowerment channel. It's not a channel to coddle the victim. And that's what Carl Jung was talking about. And it's no one's fault. It's been here since ancient times. And that's really what the 3 days of darkness is all about. So hope you learned something new today. I appreciate everyone. Tara, thank you for the super chat again. I love you. I'm having so many vivid dreams and not sleeping. Yeah. That was last night for a little bit, but then I went back to sleep. So the energies are high right now. Know this. You're feeling it. The energies, you wake up in the middle of the night, you know it. Cristal, thank you for the super chat. 444. The angels are here. I love you, Cristal. Cristal writes, go with faith and love in your journey. Absolutely. Faith and love in the journey. It's very powerful time period for everyone, and know that this is the training. Anyone that has ever done a detox or have actually done this inner work, well, when humanity does it as a whole, you're going to be just fine, kid. I love you all. Stay focused, stay empowered. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. I love you. Yeah, peace is my top priority. Watch yesterday's lesson. You're going to love it. Okay. Love you guys. Take care.